A Hunter in Teyvat, Chapter 48, Fan Fiction, by Azazyel. I couldn't help but feel jittery as I followed Lumine Venti and Paimon out of the church, and as we approached the side stairs to head towards the more populated part of Mondstadt, my anxiety was proven correct as we were met with a powerful gust of frigid air that I could feel draining my aura, saving me from frostbite-worthy temperatures. Once I lowered my arms that blocked off the icy winds from buffeting my face, I was immediately ducked and rolled on the ground as two factory assassins popped up out of our shadows and attempted to grab the back of our heads. But I grabbed one of their arms and swung him around, hitting his compatriot and throwing the duo closer to the now approaching form of La Signora. Signora just oozed sex appeal with her confident strut towards us, flanked by her two electro-Sisson mages. She had long, light blonde hair with one of her eyes covered by her large mask-like crown with a lace-like eye patch covering her eye itself, leaving her other light purple one to stare at us with disdain. Not to mention with how she was clad in rather revealing clothing consisting of a very low-cut girdle that showed off her cleavage and rather weird skirt that only covered her front and direct back, leaving her legs and lacy underwear to be freely seen from her sides as her hips swayed with each step. At last, Mondstadt's rodent ruler in the flesh, Signora spoke with both vehemence and glee in her voice as she effortlessly walked over the frozen ground. She had frozen with her cryo-delusion. Scurrying through the streets looking for leftovers, I see. She said as she walked to Venti, who had his legs frozen to the thick ice on the ground. I likewise freed Lumine from her own bindings. Mondstadt calls this a god. She pondered aloud as she gripped Venti's face and began turning it back and forth in a parody of inspection. Heh, better a local rodent than a traitorous bitch who leaped to join the people who caused your suffering. Venti snarled and earned a backhand to his throat, making the Archon gag. Don't you dare speak back to me, insolent bard. Signora snarled, and as Venti thrummed with Anemo's power and shattered the ice holding him down, Signora was upon him with her hand about to reach the Anemo Archon's chest. About to steal the god of Mondstadt's gnosis. Rather than a green glowing light of Venti's gnosis being taken, Signora was met with a large flash of white light as a large Schnee emblem blocked her from touching Venti, and as she looked at me holding my glowing silver hand towards them, she was met with what the glyph's actual purpose was. A large mechanical arm swung out of the glyph, and I very much made the battle apparent to Mondstadt as Signora was pimp-slapped by the now emerging ruin grater through the walls of the church and within, causing a series of loud crashing noises as part of the church collapsed. Kill all of the vermin. Signora screeched as parts of her body were coated in flames, healing her wounds, and from the shadows, several more assassins appeared with Sisson mages of various elements appearing in teleportations. Even as our battle became a wide melee of assassins attempting to get the drop on us, and likewise with the Sisson mages attempting to break any defenses we had with our own elemental powers, the factory were very much on a clock. An assassination of supernatural individuals in the heart of a city filled with allies can only work when done quickly and quietly. And to be clear, a massive ruin grater being summoned in the middle of the city and began shooting loud as hell lasers and missiles is anything but subtle. First to join the battle was Jean, who smashed Signora through another side of the church with a condensed tornado coming off her sword, and for the first time ever I saw Jean's face twisted in a rictus of fury as Barbara was escorted out of the church by her fellow sisters with a large gash going down her exposed collarbone and dyeing her church's outfit with blood. Then came Rosaria as she herself used her stealthy tactics to all but teleport between pieces of debris to bury her spear into factory agents as everyone was battling wildly. For a moment, I considered flying off on my Anemo elemental summon, but seeing the factory agents going after Barbara and other civilians escaping from the church, I cursed and merely summoned a large electro-lodger beside the crowd of civilians that roared as it coated itself in lightning and grabbed the large electro-factory agent armed with its electro-delusion and quickly absorbed the electro-energies coating the man, and with an audible crunching noise the factory agent was killed in the Lodger's hands. Stay by it. It will protect you against anyone approaching you. I yelled as I used my saber and that rain-slasher claymore to kill the factory that advanced upon me and Lumine as we got closer to Venti, who was fighting with Jean against Signora. But just as I feared and as Yelon warned, I was smacked in the back, seemingly by the hand of God, into the ground by a solid mass of water. Wow, Signora, you are definitely taking a beating, aren't you? A voice spoke, cutting through the din of battle, and coming up from the step close to the city was Child. I have this under control, Child, leave. Signora snarled in response as she blasted Jean and Venti away with a gale of ice blades and landed beside her fellow factory harbinger. But the newest harbinger merely shrugged with more portals opening around the Church of Barbados, allowing more and more factory to pile out. A total invasion of another city, huh? I wonder how your so-called diplomats will spin this. I said as I stood up with my back popping with my aura, healing any damage Child sucker punch did to me. Oh, wow, I hit you straight in the back of this chest behind your heart. You will be fun to fight, I bet. Child said excitedly as he threw aside his large winter coat to leave him in his standard outfit of a jacket with rolled-up sleeves, pants, and his hydrovision hanging on his hip that contrasted the demonic small mask he was wearing on the side of his head. I don't know. I mean, you are the weakest of the Fatui harbingers. Are you even worth my time? I prodded, and even Signora paid more attention to me as Child's whole body twitched as I hit his sore spot. All right, kid, I got your number. He said as he put away his bow, and then I knew he was taking me seriously as two swords made out of condensed pressurized hydroenergy formed in his hands. Then at an unseen signal, we dashed towards one another with Child blocking my overhead swing of my claymore with his sword head in AX formation, and then he spun to the side with his water swords disappearing instantly, allowing my claymore to fall forward past him as he went to form a large spear of hydro to impale me. But I likewise met his feint with my own as I let go of my claymore with my saber flashing into my hands from my space bag, coated in an anemo tornado. An explosion pushed us back as my anemo energy violently reacted as per usual with another more active element, sending Child flying back as he couldn't react in time, and unlike him, I was able to apply a weak geo shield to myself before the explosion went off. No words or taunts were needed to pass our lips as we repeatedly met each other in a melee dance of death, and Child proved very much that he was the superior duelist, but I had a whole bag of tricks I could call upon with my solid Schnee glyphs slamming into him along with my summons. And then there was the fact that with my aura I was able to shrug off what should have been lethal wounds with the aura's force field and use the lethal wound he attempted to land on me to land my own wounds upon him that he most certainly didn't have a force field, an aura, or a geo shield for. My fellow compatriots, the prinzessin is here. I heard someone all but yell with Child being nailed by a column of condescending electro-energy and thrown aside from me. Hail, Fatui agents of evil, kneel in supplication as the Prinzessin der Veritelung is here and officially denounces your actions. Fiscal cried out as she partially covered her electro-radiating visible eye with her hand as her electro-enthused familiar flapped in the air beside her. Who the hell is she? Child asked as he stood up and then seemed to look between the new interloper and me. Is that your girlfriend or something? He asked casually as one of his hands came up to cup the mask on his head and then pulled it over his face, and became coated in electro-energy, which enhanced the hydro spear he was holding. No. Maybe. Lumen and Fiscal yelled at the same time, with the two girls glaring at one another before they got back into the fight. Well, either way, hopefully there shouldn't be anyone else coming for the next couple minutes, and by then you will be dead, Child said carelessly as he approached me with his vision and delusion being used at the same time. I am afraid such hopes aren't possible. Another voice cut through, and Child spun around to cut apart a powerful hydro and cryo series of arrows, but he was still partially frozen as Yelan and Ganyu walked into the church's area, flanked by Dilek, Kia, Lisa, Bennett, and several dozen knights of Favonius. Yo Signora, you still want me to take off? Child grinned maniacally with his battle lust reaching unknown levels with electro-energies roaring off him as he burned through his life force to break off the ice off him. Hey, if you like this and want daily uploads and to read early chapters, please drop a tip in my Ko-Fi https://ko-fi.com/Azazyel22926 or https://www.patar-ian.com/Azazyel and your precious energy stones. It keeps me working on it. My commission rate is $15 per 1,000 words. Azazyel. Please, like and subscribe to our channel.